Okay, everyone, we are here doing something different now. We are talking with our friend William, who runs Red Rock Travel. We're here to talk about Formula One and motorsports. And this is key because apparently a whole bunch of stuff happened this weekend with Formula One that they're going to tell us about. We are here with William Herrera of Red Rock Travel. We are here with Paulo. We are here with G. William is the key guy in bringing people around the world to go to F1. And if you think that's an easy thing to do without him, you're wrong because I've done it. So it's way better with him than it is without him. Paulo's a big, young F1 fan, and he's just started. And you can clearly see he's wearing his heart on his sleeve with a Ferrari shirt. G will, as always, give us details and dates and stats and specs and so on, far more than anybody else can. So hello, everyone. William, how is it going? I met you first when you started doing your tours, man, and I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. First of all, good day to everyone. Thank you for having me. To answer your question, unfortunately, this year, travel is non-existent, I guess, for everyone. But the fans and even both in the motorsports and in the tourism industry are looking forward to 2021.
That's good.
Yeah, so still looking up, still positive. Something will come out in the next couple of months. Yeah, so
that's good. So, Paulo, what happened this week in Formula One? You were all excited.
Yeah. So lap 1, turn 3 of the Bahrain Grand Prix, Romain Grosjean hit the wall and the car was cut in half, and instantly it came on fire. And it took him, I think, 18 to 20 seconds to get out of the car. Right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing that the medical car, like the new regulations the past few years, that the medical car has to be following the F1 cars in the first lap. So they were able to get him out. It was quite a miracle. Like everyone was commenting, if this happened in the 80s or earlier, he would have survived.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
For sure.
20 seconds in a burning car is you know, people think of these as fireproof suits, but they're only rated to X amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. So 20 seconds in a burning car is no joke.
And it had a full tank of fuel. It was the first lap. So
And the other things that saved him were again, these are things that didn't exist before. What were the controversial, William? There were some controversial regulations that made the cars look a little bit more funny. You had the hand system.
Yeah,
now you've got the halo system, right?
Halo. There were a lot of people who didn't like the halo much. It looked like basically there were memes that says it looked like flip-flops, but but that saved Roman. That really did. Without it, I think he would be gone. But,
well, how structural is it? Because the last F1 race I went to, they didn't have that. They had the hands devices. They didn't have the halo. The halo is a structural part of the car, right? Is it acting like a roll bar as well as a protection thing?
Yeah, aside from being a roll ball, it does, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it could withstand as much impact as like the monocoque. It forms part of the monocoque, so it's an integral part of the driver's safety. So,
when I saw pictures, of course, the car was really charred, but the halo was still intact.
Yeah.
So that's
That's interesting.
Roman was admittedly in the hospital bed. He gave a 30-second message. He was admittedly saying that back then, when it was being researched and implemented, he wasn't a fan of the halo, but like he said himself that without the halo, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Well, there were 2 other drivers that have already credited halo with saving their lives. At least 2 other drivers.
The past 2 years, a year or two, like there have been some nasty accidents when a car would go over top of another car, and it would flip over, and you can really see that it's really been a huge benefit for the sport, for the drivers.
William explained this, right? It looks like a flip flop because you kind of have this thing right in front of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Did anyone? Okay, I don't know if this is possible, but have you ever sat in a car that has that? William, I mean, you're the one who goes there all the time, right?
Nope,
Um,
nope, haven't.
I
I can
wonder how
imagine
hard it is to.
it's an irritant in your line of vision directly in front
Yeah.
of you. So I
Mm.
don't know how they do it, how they deal with it, but
Yeah.
props to them.
Well, we've been big fans of Formula One for a very very long time. Some of us remember Nicky Lauda's crash in
Mhm.
Nurburgring, where people had to jump out of the race cars to go get him because if you know Nurburgring, it's a huge, huge course, and he crashed in a forest area where people aren't going to see him for the next 15 minutes or something, right? So there've been horrific, horrific crashes. Ronnie Peters, well, not, yeah, Ronnie, a lot. I mean, basically everyone's crashed, and the fact that
Ayrton
this is like
Senna.
the biggest, right? Yeah, duh. This is like the biggest fire in a while. I mean, fires in Formula One aren't that abnormal.
Mm.
When we used to,
Yeah.
when we used to be
Yep.
above the pits, and I would cover F1, I would generally get my seat, my desk, over the pits of either Ferrari or McLaren, who were the lead at the time, and I have at least 3 or 4 sets of cars on fire, and it's usually a splash from.
Oh.
It's just because of the refueling.
Yeah, it's
back
the
in the day.
refueling.
Mm.
It's not a crash hit. It's just the refueling hit. So
Refueling. Yeah.
so this is a big, big one, man. This was straight into a wall. Like, wow. Okay, William, do you know this track at all? I mean, why did he go off
Right.
there, and why did he hit something so hard right there?
Okay, from the replays, I saw it live, but it kind of was. I
A
was
blur.
just a bit surprised. It was a blur. I was surprised, but
Yeah.
upon when showing the replays, it seemed that Roman was pushed wide, and the cars in front kind of slowed down because there was a separate incident ahead, and he kind of veered to the right to avoid it and pass. But in that action, he clipped Kvyat's front wing that sent him sliding onto the barrier head first.
Mhm.
Because the
Mm.
barriers they
Okay.
said would work if it was a side impact. It would unlike that wherein the nose went straight in
Oh.
between the space between the arm coast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
it broke and it caught fire.
That's why he was
Okay.
cut in half. His car was cut in half.
Yeah,
So what did he impact? What material did he impact?
Armco.
Wood?
Arm go.
No,
That's
Armco.
steel,
Very
I think.
Steel.
Yeah.
Steel.
Um, was that meant to give, or was it meant to hold?
It was meant to give, but only a side glance. If the cars would slide
Okay.
onto it, so
Okay,
was
so it
fine.
catches it
was at an
going.
angle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but his entry or his hit, because of him clipping Kvyat's wheel, it it made the angle steeper and a direct hit straight onto
Yeah.
the barrier, and that's why it caught fire and it split the car in two.
So
Because that
shouldn't
part of
they, go ahead, go ahead.
that part of the track, kasi, it's not really a play. It's very uncommon to see that kind of crash there. Like what William said, it's really meant for side impacts.
Side impact.
It wasn't ready for an angular or a head-on impact.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, I was gonna ask, shouldn't do you think they'd be looking at ways to improve on that? Like, yun, unexpected na head-on impact. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna find ways to lessen, the damage that can be done if just in case that happens again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, diba?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they will. I mean, it's a constant battle for them. They're constantly making changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had a. When was the last time an F1 driver died on the track?
Jules Bianchi,
Oh.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was recent,
Japan.
fairly recent. Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, but that was
Before-
that was prior to that. I mean, it's not like before, right?
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So they're doing a lot of changes, and so it's constant, right? So
Yeah.
but okay, so we were talking about that, and basically this is the type of thing we talk about with William and now with Paolo, because they're just so into the whole thing. Now, William, we were talking about this. William runs Red Rock Travel. Red Rock Travel is the primary instigator for all the evil, nasty trips that people take to go to Formula One races. Um, and as I've said, I've done it without him. It's way better with him for several reasons. For one, when I did it by myself, I booked my own tickets. I got my own flights. I found my own hotels, and I was fine. I was a big, massive fan at the time, or I was working. But it's completely different when you go with a gang, and
For sure.
it's completely different. And especially in the Philippines now, we're so close to Singapore. Singapore is okay. It doesn't have the romance of Spa or Silverstone or any of these places, but what it has is it's the best place to watch Formula One because there's so much other stuff going on, and you can go with your friends. So we've been watching William, cart people around Formula One all over the place. What are the main places people go from the Philippines? What races do they go to, William?
Well, the default Grand Prix for Filipinos is basically Singapore. One, just 3.5 hours away, and you don't need a visa. You only need a passport. You're in. Weather is similar to the Philippines, so it's not that difficult. And the good thing with Singapore is the track is basically in the city.
Mhm.
You don't need to commute to get to the track, like
Yeah.
Japan, even Malaysia.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, so that sort of thing. So it's easy. And of course, Singapore has the best package, especially if you're a novice fan or you have someone who is kind of not into the whole F1
Mhm.
thing. You
Yeah.
can get them hooked on it because you can watch concerts, magic shows, street performers while inside the track, while you experience Formula One. Singapore has 3 nights of concerts after the practice, quali, and after the race.
The
It's
rates.
all
Yeah.
it's party central. It's party central.
Those
You
were a
can't go
treat for
wrong.
me.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I remember when I was there last year, like a lot of my favorite bands were there. Red Hot Chili
Oh
Peppers, Muse.
wow,
Yeah, I was like, wow.
yeah.
And so you were
That's
So
just
like,
kind of you were just kind of
yeah.
walking around through all this. Was it happening during the race or in between, like before and
uh,
after?
in
for the
between
concerts. Yeah, between events,
yeah.
between practice,
Okay.
quali, support races. It's all scheduled that the performers will go on stage
Mm.
in between on track action.
Mhm. And can you
So
see the performers from the grandstands, or do you have to
no,
go there?
you have to go. You have to go.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
Like
rush over.
one thing I realized when I went to my first race was that it's really a long trek to go to one place to another. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it's a long walk.
Oh, Singapore is so
uh,
easy.
Yeah.
Singapore. Yeah.
It's so easy. You
Or
can.
yeah.
It's nothing compared to
Oh
old
yeah.
Formula One tracks. Do you
Is
Oh
it
take a
yeah.
it's
train?
still okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but no. It's I can't. It's just so much easier in Singapore. Seriously,
Oh
what
yeah.
other
For
ones are
sure.
good? You go to Australia a lot, William. You bring people to Australia a lot.
Yeah. My favorite.
Oh,
Why?
Yeah.
really? Well,
My
why?
favorite is
Yeah.
Australia. Love the atmosphere. I love. Uh, it's a 4-day event, and it's usually the first race of the season.
The calendar.
Drivers
Yeah.
are more relaxed. You can chat with them. We have a place for all our friends. We don't have clients. We have friends. For all our friends, we take them. We have a place where we take them, so you can actually see drivers up close. You can get autographs, selfies with them
Wow.
all
Mm.
weekend long.
Mm.
Really?
So yeah, yeah. There's
Oh wow.
actually that's one of the biggest selling points we have for fans who want to have a photo taken or an autograph, a memorabilia signed, and everything, yeah, go to Melbourne. It's the easiest way because, like, and all circuits have fan interaction places,
Yeah.
locations. Unfortunately, for let's say Japan or even Silverstone, if you're not camping out in Silverstone in the
Yeah.
tents and everything, you
Hmm.
won't make it because the schedule
Yeah.
prohibits you being
Mm,
there. Because
mm,
it'll take you about 2 hours. If you're coming from London, it'll take you
Hmm.
2 hours to get to the track. By the time you arrive, it's all over, or there's a ton of people right in the queue ahead of you.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
that's it. Melbourne is also another place wherein it's easily reached via the tram. So it's easy. It's like 10-15 minutes via tram, and you're at gate one. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Hey, car. Yeah.
Mm.
I have a
So,
question.
hmm.
Like with your clients, like do you go around together, or
Okay, we made it a point that we offer our clients the option because okay, admittedly, not all clients or all people, all fans are fans of Ferrari. Some are, of course,
Mhm.
Mercedes, Red
Mm,
Bull, and everything.
mm,
And
yeah.
it sometimes gets difficult if a few of the people say, "Hey, Kimi will be signing in this place, but uh, Vettel will be signing on this place." So you can immediately see that there will be a split of the
Mhm.
people what they want to do. There will People will go their own way and everything. What we do is we bring people up to the gate. Hey, this is where our meeting point after the race. Set a time. Let's go here. But if you're willing to go with, for example, for me, with me, we go this. I'll take you this way, and to the places that I think would be a good place for you to experience the races.
Mm,
Now, some of course, nah, I'll rest, I'll eat, or I'll buy stuff first before doing that. That's fine. So to answer your question, yes, we have a set package, set itinerary, but it's flexible. You can go with us or not. It's entirely your call. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's really cool.
just make it.
Yeah,
mm,
Yeah,
because
because
I
you
agree
can.
with Carl. Like when it comes to watching F1 races, it's best with friends.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
right.
Yeah, it's
So
entirely.
other than let's say the Asian races, do you have a lot of people that go into the European races, William?
Not as much. We have a few. Of course, one thing that's problematic is airfare is expensive.
Hmm.
Of
Mhm.
course, the
mm,
visas and everything. But we've had a few for the UK
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Austria. So Austria is also good.
For
So
UK and Austria, did you bring them? You went with them.
yes, yes.
So
Uh,
how'd you get around? Because Silverstone is not, dude. I
oh
slogged
yeah,
through the mud in Silverstone.
oh yeah. If Paulo was complaining about
God,
Singapore,
that's Singapore. Dude,
Silverstone is
Singapore's air
no.
conditioned, dude. You can stay
Oh
as
yeah,
far away as you want, and you can be popped out
yeah,
walking through air conditioned malls up until the very end.
yeah.
Singapore is easy.
Easy.
So
Yeah.
how did you handle something like Silverstone, William?
Silverstone, we're more, how do you say it? We suggest that you always stay together because one, you will get lost if you're a first
Yeah.
timer. Two,
mm,
you'll find it difficult to get around because like Silverstone is so huge and there's a lot of things that's happening there. You will get lost. So we kind of insist that we stay together for Silverstone, for Austria. Even the itinerary will reflect you have to be up at this certain time because we have to take the bus or the train
Oh, okay.
to
mm,
But you
say
didn't fly
yeah.
them by
Sheffield.
helicopter.
Oh, I
Because
wish.
Silverstone
I
actually at one
wish.
point Silverstone had the honor of having the most heavy helicopter traffic anywhere in the world
Yeah.
outside
Oh,
of like
During
wartime.
the
Yeah,
Grand
no, it's
Prix.
just constant.
Oh,
It's just
Yeah.
constant.
Constant.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
So
however
those,
took trains and walked through the mud.
yeah.
So
Same here.
Yeah, and it's a mess. It's a complete mess, and
Mm.
it's no joke. You're walking through the mud to get to the bus or the train or however the heck you're getting home because you're nowhere near anything in the world,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Italy in the mud. If you go to the Italian Grand Prix, you're in a sea of red, dude. You better not wear a
Yeah.
McLaren cap.
Ferrari. Exactly.
Yeah. But it's an
Yeah.
amazing experience. I mean, you're gonna have.
Mhm.
We went to again. I would go by myself or with one friend, um, and you'd have guys who camped out. And there was one time I got a play by play of what was going on because a father was holding up his granddaughter so she could see over the fence, and the granddaughter was explaining to the grandmother who was sitting beside them what was going on, and that's how I heard it. And so it's a wild experience, and it's not just about sitting in the stands and watching things go around in circles. It's not about that, and even choosing the grandstand you want to be in is a key point. I took forever to figure out where I wanted to sit.
Mm.
And that's where people, again, you need local knowledge, and local knowledge in this case is William, right?
Yeah.
So he'll
Yeah.
tell you, like, do you want to see the pit action? A lot of people think they want to be in the main grandstand, but you kind of only see zipping around in the
Yeah.
main grandstand.
Yeah.
Do you want to see dicing? You go hit a corner. Do you want to sit there while they do a concert and have a place? You sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
You want to be close to the fun stuff they sell, and that's the really bad part about Formula One is no matter what you do,
Yeah.
and we go there for we go there and we as journalists we go and we have access to everything, right? And we still go out and buy stuff. It's really really bad.
Yeah.
So and that's a key point. That's a key point of F1. Yeah, you have the best models. No, I don't mean girls, I mean cars. I mean like little toy models. Okay, there's these
Yeah.
awesome little toy models you can get,
Yeah.
and they're
Yes.
just great. You can get shirts
Very
from
tempting.
10 years ago, 20 years ago. You can get memorabilia. You can get books.
Yeah.
And you
Wow.
do it. Do you still walk into the drive? Can you walk into drivers before you could actually catch them? Is that still possible, William? Or are they all just shepherded?
There are places like, for example, in Singapore, we have a place wherein we also show our clients, excuse me, like in Melbourne, wherein the drivers would walk through, because and then before they access the paddock, so you can actually ambush them, for a lack of a better term, ambush them for hi hello photos, selfies,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
autographs. Of course, depending on their mood, if they will agree
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
but yeah, there's still access to drivers. You can easily access. Just of course, one rule of thumb that I always tell our friends and clients, and even our people in Red Rock, because just to add, either one or all of us at the office will go with the group. Depends on the size, of course, and they all have attended a race, one or two races at least, so they know what to do, how to handle if you meet a Formula One driver. You just
Mhm.
don't block them. You kind of walk along with them at a hurried pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just don't
Yeah.
be rude and everything. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's one of the. Okay, a lot of people compare U.S. races with Formula One races. In U.S. races, you have a lot more access to the drivers. It's really a lot more open. Um,
Mm.
Formula One became a business, and I saw it increase in the way it was handled as a business. So your access was controlled and paid for to a large extent, and it bothered me honestly because I'm inside the. Okay, when this became my job, I was inside the pits and the paddocks, uh, and I could walk in and out as I wished. And then I would walk out, and I would see all these kids waiting just to go in or not go in, sorry, just to see. And I'm like, I actually wanted to go to the side and try and cut holes in the barriers so they could actually see because it was sad. And I remember like in Silverstone is home to a lot of the Grand Prix teams, so they'd be comfortable and you could walk to whoever, right, Stewart Racing or whatever, and then they have open houses, right, where you could buy old stuff. It's so cool. But then they'd be more relaxed and they would chat, and especially the younger, newer drivers would chat. The older ones, they're really ambushed. and they're ambushed not by fans so much as they're ambushed by press. They're
Yeah.
and let's be clear. Formula One press is not necessarily impolite, but they have a job to do. It's not like, and I've seen press with like fashion stuff, and they're aggressive as anything. Formula One's not like that. They have a level of respect, but at the same time, this is a guy who was about to get into a car going 200 and risk his life, and he's got a mindset, right? And it's really hard to interfere with that preparation for anything. So, James Deacon and I would go to races before, and he was saying like, this is it's so hard. The minute they get out of their car, they're on the job. Everything they do is so yeah. But what else would you like? Do you have little tips and tricks that you would tell people? Because that's a good one. The whole don't block the driver, right?
Yeah.
And the minute you do, dude, he's going to be swarmed. He's got to keep moving, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what other little things do you tell people?
Wear comfortable shoes. That's paramount, because don't go around on flip-flops, sandals, or high heels or leather shoes. Try the running shoes. Trainers would work. That's it. And just keep yourself hydrated, especially in warmer climates, because you will cramp up. If you keep on walking, you will cramp up. So you have to keep yourself hydrated. For drivers, aside from the don't block them thing, try to call out. A lot of them would kind of give you their time if you call them out nicely, of course. But some people just expect, don't shove the paper or the photo in their faces. Even if you're walking along with them, don't shove it in their faces. So just say, hey, Sebastian, can you please sign? And then he'll agree, or he'll make a nod, and then hand it over slightly. Then that's it. Yeah. Just be cordial, I guess, and everything. Yeah, and you'll be
Of
fine.
course.
Yeah. And you have to remember, like, yeah,
Go ahead,
sorry.
good. You have to remember.
You have to remember, like what Carl said, that they have a job to do. It's not, hey, the race is at, say, 2:10, and you saw him at 11. You have to remember that he's going into the paddock. There's debriefing, talk with
Debriefing,
engineers,
practice. Yeah.
strategies, and everything. So it's not, hey, you're still gonna race at 2:10. You have 3 hours to kill. Why not give me a minute of your time? No, he has to be in the paddock at a certain time. He has to focus, and he has to do all the other stuff needed before he actually races. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. That's it.
No. That's very interesting. Okay, William, what else? Okay, we're getting back into this. William, what else do you bring people to? Motorcycles.
Yeah, we do MotoGP. Of course, Sepang is the closest. Again, for us, similar to Singapore, same thing. Uh, Malaysians are crazy with motorbikes, so it's really a different atmosphere. If you are into motorbikes or just want to experience MotoGP, see the difference between Formula One and the other disciplines.
How's that?
Sepang,
If I may ask, sorry, the MotoGP, do they have like same, concerts and party atmosphere as well, or is it pretty much, they're
uh,
just the race and
for MotoGP, it's basically a carnival. There's no
also,
after race concerts,
yeah,
but once you
yeah,
enter, like in Sepang, once you enter the grandstand area, there are pocket parties, pocket events
mm,
happening in and out, because you can sell here. There's like helmets, stuff, oil,
merchandise,
everything.
yeah,
Everything's there. It's like a changi for
okay,
everything motorsports,
mm,
motorbikes. So
yeah,
yeah, but similar to F1, you do have to know your way around, uh, get to your place before the session starts and everything.
mm,
But yeah, it's similar, yet different to Formula One.
mm.
Yeah.
And in terms of pricing, which one is
MotoGP,
more,
MotoGP
yeah,
is not cheaper. Just
okay,
to back then, when Malaysia held Formula One, the same seat you will have for Formula One compared to MotoGP is like 80 off.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Yes, 80 off.
I see.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Wow.
MotoGP. Yeah. So
But do they have the same level of like? I mean, do they sell the same level of access via corporate sponsors, or is
yeah,
it
Mm,
different? It
it's the
is.
same. They also have their own paddock club and everything.
mm-hmm,
So there's hospitality suites. There's suites right at the back on the or on top of the grandstand, overlooking everything. They have better vantage points, but it's also like Formula One. You have to pay to get to that
yeah.
access. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still at a discount compared to Formula One. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you explain the Paddock Club? Because we see that a lot, right? What
Oh,
exactly is the Paddock Club?
the Paddock Club is the most expensive ticket that you can buy for individuals.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting
And
around
where
that.
to
It's
get
the
it?
most
Yeah.
expensive.
Um,
So yeah, yes, Pablo.
sorry, is this for F1 or MotoGP?
Sorry,
No.
we went back to F1.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
Wait.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So
My fault.
yeah.
Sorry.
So for F1, the Paddock Club, for say, let's say Singapore,
Okay.
For Singapore, the Paddock Club ticket for 3 days gives you
Mm-hmm.
access to the suites, of course, free flowing F&B, all the good stuff, uh, air conditioned suite, lots of monitors around so you don't miss the action.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few drivers contracted to visit the suite at certain times of the day. You get
Mm-hmm.
access to pit lane garage tours, of course, on a schedule also. That is basically the advantage of having a Paddock Club ticket over a regular ticket. And you're on the other side of the fence. You're basically above the garage and everything. And
Okay.
you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
being part of the team. But the price is kind of astronomical. Yeah. So,
Well,
Okay.
I've been okay, I've seen the Paddock Club, and the atmosphere is completely different.
yeah,
It's not wild, crazy fun. This is corporate
corporate.
sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People bringing people they want to impress, that type of a thing. It's nowhere near the level of insanity you see in the general grandstand.
Yeah.
And I think that honestly, I think that's part of it. I think the experience is well, like when I went to Monza for the first time, I was a rabid McLaren fan, right? So I was surrounded by. It's
Okay.
like I
In
have to wear
Italy?
Ferrari. I'm not going to survive this
Yeah.
without it. So, but no, but the experience is just insane. It's and then if you go to the British one, it's just they're all nuts,
Yeah.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
they break down the barriers, and they'll no matter what you do, they're going to get onto that track when the race is done. You
Yeah.
cannot stop it, right? It's just not going to happen. They've even tried. I've seen the look of the guy at that gate, and he just run. I've seen him run. I've seen him because like when we're doing this and we're pressed, right? So we're there, and so we're right above everything. So as soon as things wrap up, we walk down already, and we're right there. And I see the guy, and he's like, and he opens the door and he just gets out of the way, and you just can't. And we're already ahead of them, and they still overtake us by the time we get to the podium or whatever. So, but okay, let's talk about experiences. What are the best experiences you've had, William? What are the things that you will remember? What little things have happened? Uh,
Personally,
yeah,
for
personally,
me,
Mm.
yeah.
or for
Yeah.
your class, or for your friends and the people who go with
Oh, okay.
you.
Oh, back in when was this? Late 2000s when Caterham was still in F1.
Yes.
I
Mm.
think
Yeah.
09, 10, 11, thereabouts. I got a chance to meet Tony Fernandez, the owner, team principal of Caterham.
Mhm.
Mm.
So kind of struck up a friendship with him. So whenever I'd go to a race, we have clients or friends, I'd always ask if they can sneak us into the paddock.
Mhm.
Most of the times he would agree and have his people come up to us. We'll wait outside the paddock club, the paddock gate before the turnstiles. They'd come out, hand us passes, go in, tour the garage. We even had the chance to watch Friday practice in Singapore inside the garage.
Mhm.
Behind, you see those from the camera angle, right? They're taking photos. There are people in an enclosure inside the garage. That's where we stood. It was hot. It was smelly, but it was great. And you have headsets on. You can hear all the chatter coming
Oh,
in and
that's
out.
cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, that's one of the highlights. Because and if Tony Fernandez would allow 2 or 3 people or 4 people, 5 people along, and if I can take them along, hey, whoever's our regular client, hey, come on. Say for example, Carl. Hey, Carl, Tony's inviting us over. Let's tour the garage and stuff. And we and at times would even have us go to the suite at the
Mhm.
back of the garage, get a coffee, snacks, and everything. So
Mm.
that's one thing that would always stand out in my mind. That experience of be able to attend a race, see it from the other side. Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
What other fun things have your friends and clients told you that they liked about it?
Well, aside from the races, of course, everybody's there for the races. One memory I have is we have a client. His name is Vincent. He would regularly go with us to races. He's a huge Lewis Hamilton fan. He's a huge Lewis Hamilton fan. So in Melbourne, we took him there. We took him to the before the entrance of the paddock. So when Lewis came on, and of course he was rushed and everything, people were yelling for autographs and selfies. And then Lewis chanced walked by Vincent, who was all dressed head to toe Mercedes gear. So you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
He will stand out. So anyway, long story short, Vincent asked for a photo, selfie. But in his nervousness, he couldn't get his phone to work.
Okay.
So Lewis said, "Okay, make sure that works. I'll come back to you later." So he did a few more people, and then went back. Oh, is your phone working? Oh, yes.
That's
Can you?
really cool.
Yeah. uh, and then he said, "Can you sign my shirt?" But of course, the shirt he's wearing all black, Mercedes all black. So he
Mm.
had the paint marker, and as soon as he handed it to Lewis, as soon as Lewis started to sign on the shirt, it wouldn't work because you
Oh.
have to shake it and everything. So again, Lewis says, "Get that to work. I'll go back to you." He did a few more and then went back to Vincent. So he did. Lewis came back to him 2 times and everything, and Vincent was ecstatic.
Well,
He
that's
couldn't
really
Oh yeah.
forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, and I have to add something else. There are a lot of fans who always bash other drivers for, "Hey, I only wanted a photo or a
mm,
signature from you," and yet and sometimes drivers will not allow them
Mm.
that photo or that autograph because
Yep.
I often hear people say, for example, Paulo, "Hey, Luis, can you sign my cap?" If you're dressed in a Ferrari shirt and you say you're a fan, have him sign a Mercedes cap. That kind of doesn't
Okay.
work.
yeah,
so, so,
Yeah. Exactly.
so if you're going to autograph thingy, make sure if you're a Ferrari fan, make sure get the Ferrari drivers. Don't go searching for other drivers because they won't
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
no, but
Exactly.
in general, I found the drivers. I mean, given understand that this is their office, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
this is their work,
Yeah.
and their work can kind of kill them, right? Uh, so they, and even having said that, I've generally seen them very pleasant human beings.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Mm.
they're they're even the most like they say it was Kimi they called the Iceman, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
and yet when he relaxes, the guy chats
Wow.
like crazy. He's like
Oh yeah.
super nice. And I have like hero worship for some of these people, right? There's some of these people I cannot open my mouth in front of. I just can't. And these aren't like it's okay. I'm a bit older, so to me it's old school. I've got like Jackie Stewart's book here. Jackie Stewart,
Yeah.
I cannot talk to. I just can't. I've met him like 3 times. I can talk to Michael Schumacher. I can talk to all these people. I can't talk to him. I can't talk to these old drivers. Alain Prost when he walked through the pits, whatever. I'm just in awe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but generally they're actually super nice as long as you're not like you can see them. Like if you see whoever, my examples are like Michael Schumacher. If you see him walking and he's like in that's what the press sounds like. No, I'm kidding. If you see him, focused and whatever, you kind of can't stop him, and he won't. He'll just kind of go straight through. But if he's relaxed, you can see that demeanor.
Yeah.
So there. Baldo, what were your? Let us know what you think your favorite time was during your first race. What was the memory for you?
I like I like the vibe of it in Singapore. It was a party vibe all around. Like once I got out of the hotel, like there were like supercars parked everywhere, and like I think that's the one that stands out the most was my first day there, and I think they were doing practice, and we were like a few streets away, but I heard the cars.
Yeah.
So that was pretty huge for me. The first time to hear the cars.
Yeah.
Considering how I was like far away from the track, but I still heard it. So that was
And
pretty cool
considering
for me.
that's the hybrids now, imagine if you had
Yes,
witnessed V10s back then.
Oh yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's entirely different.
So what? Okay, William, you've also done the whole electric car racing thing, right? You've attended
Formula E.
some. How
Formula
does
E.
that? How does that differ? How does it feel?
Unfortunately, Formula E, I think, from my experience, doesn't have that the fan base. It still lacks the fan base needed to really take it over the top.
Mhm.
The action on track is best viewed on TV. I think that's just
Mhm.
me. That's just me. Because as soon as you're in the grandstand in a Formula E race, you can basically chat with your seatmate
It's
as the cars
quieter,
are
right?
going. It's quieter. It's dead quiet compared to Formula One and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but for me, the sound of the cars that makes it more exciting. It
Mhm.
triggers
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
in me that eh,
True.
I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So there's something lacking in Formula E. It could be the future of motorsports
Mm.
if they ban petrol, but as of now, it's kind of uh, yeah,
Yeah.
No,
not much
I
interest. Yeah,
remember, when the first Singapore Grand Prix, my brother, who's based in Singapore, he called me up that was during practice.
mm,
And he called me up just to let me hear the sound of the cars, and he was like, "Whoa, okay,
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember when we would roll up, and we usually get to the okay, if we were working, we get to the track on a Thursday,
mhm,
mm,
Wednesday or Thursday, because then we have to get our passes and all the
yeah."
stuff. And as soon as you get close to the track and you start hearing the cars, your
You get
heart rate goes
excited.
up, and
yeah,
all of a
Exactly,
sudden you're
exactly.
like, "Chuk, chuk, chuk, chuk," and
yeah,
nothing else matters, you know.
yeah.
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 True.
Or if you're not in Singapore but in another place and you come out of a train and then you're walking through a muddy field and then you start hearing the car in the distance and
Mm,
it all the complaints you had are gone. All the
Yeah,
complaints are like it took so long, it cost so much, I'm walking through the mud, I have no idea what I'm going to do, how the heck am I going to get home? Then you hear the car and you're like, yeah, and then
we're
you're
yeah.
just
good.
you're not going to go home for a while.
Yeah, yeah, we're good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
It
it's
only
it's
takes once.
yeah.
Entirely different. But I think are you gonna? I think a news came out yesterday that regarding Formula E, Audi is dropping out, right? So you guys,
That well,
Oh yeah.
okay. Okay. This information came from someone, so we're not too sure how reliable he is because it's William, right? No, we're kidding. But no, but it wasn't officially. Supposedly, it wasn't officially announced. It was
Yeah.
run through Motorsport,
Yeah.
the organization, which is a media outlet. Um, but they're saying, and they're like seriously reliable anyway. So basically, they're saying that Audi is leaving Formula E, and they're going to concentrate on sports cars. Basically, what they're saying is endurance cars. Basically, what people understand as going back to Le Mans.
Le Mans,
It's interesting because the way they wrote the article, they're clearly aiming at, like, you say, oh, they're going to go to E, DLM, whatever. I'm like, dude, nobody knows what that is. You know, it's a tier in world endurance racing, which is basically Le Mans and Le Mans like type things. But it's not the main tier. It's not the prototype tier. The prototypes are cars that will never see the road. They're built specifically for racing. Other tiers are where people like Ferrari compete, Aston Martin. Whereas at the top, you're going to have purpose-built Audis, Toyotas, Porsches, things like that. So there are several tiers. So what Audi might be doing is planning on putting more streetable cars, cars
Road
that actually are based based loosely on real cars, like the 911s, 935s, whatever. They're kind of based on 911s, right? Ish. That idea, that might be where they're going. Yeah, that should be interesting because Audi was kind of the key point for Formula E, and they're kind of at the leading edge of that technology. And if they leave there, who's going to fight it out? I don't know. Toyota. Yeah, it's interesting. So, what are the remaining races, William and Paulo? What are the remaining races this year?
2 more.
The remaining races for this year, there are 2.
Yeah.
Next weekend is Bahrain again. It's the outer track, the long track. No, it's the short track actually. Yeah, and then Abu Dhabi is the season closer.
The final,
fortnight. Yeah, final
That's
race.
so interesting in how things have changed, William. I mean, William and I have known this. We've been watching this sport for, longer than Paolo's been around, right?
Oh,
and,
for sure.
So the whole idea of having a Vietnamese race, which we were discussing a while ago, here's an example. People kept saying that, we need a track in the Philippines for Formula One, and this track might be Formula One. The track is not the only issue. The issue, and we saw this in the recent crash, right? They need to have somewhere for these guys to go in an accident, and so they're assessing hospitals. They're assessing landing pads on top of hospitals. They're assessing how well can you handle the needs of hugely wealthy individuals who want to be pampered. Right? How many helicopters can you handle in the Clark track? Right? It's a whole different deal. It's not just the race, and
the logistics.
It's a logistics. Yeah. So the fact that we had something. I mean, Malaysia was purpose built, basically, completely purpose built. It was as spec as you and. If you're used to going to Malaysia and Singapore and whatever, then you go to an old track like Monza, Silverstone, Donington, whatever.
Monaco.
It's different. Monaco's completely different. Monaco's just nuts, man. It's. Have you ever watched a race at Monaco, William?
Me, no. Unfortunately, no. It's too expensive.
It's a tough gig, dude.
Yeah, I would imagine.
No, it's insane. It's actually not it was never a good place to race because there was just no passing. It was never a good place to watch because you can't really see that much. And yet it was the key point because of all the parties, because it was the place to be, right? So that was the key thing. I've never watched a race there. I've been there the week before the race, so we actually got to run some really fun cars on the track while it was still not the track yet. We ran that it was kind of an electric offshoot of a Renault Cup car or something. No, a Renault open wheel race car.
Mm.
Wow.
We ran that on the Monaco track, and it's really wild. But everything else is just a mess, and everything's super expensive. Hotels are insanely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's, I mean, actually, apparently the people from there actually hate it because it just messes up their lives for a month and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I would imagine.
Yeah.
But they can make killing if they rent out their pads or their apartments or their loft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do, and that's what you see if you
Actually,
watch it on TV. You see all these people hanging out there.
from the
They just
yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
You just
They
leave.
They just leave. That funds their vacation.
Yeah.
So I remember Monaco is basically apartments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's apartments for people who are trying to hide their money. Except, I mean, those that really live there. And it was funny because I've been to Monaco a few times, right? But then I went to the places where people actually live. It's completely different, you know. And like we drove through. I had to drive from, I don't know, somewhere into Monaco, and we went through the places where they wouldn't do the Formula One, but they used to do the rallies, right?
Mm.
And it's actually where real people live, right?
Mhm.
So it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Last story, William. What's our last fun story? What story more than others convinces people to go on one of your little journeys with you?
Yeah. What's your
Uh,
selling point? I mean, aside from, of course, the race and everything.
I guess I always say, especially to people who are kind of on the fence about going, try it out once, because once will never be enough. You will want to go
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Even
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
even if
Okay.
your favorite driver doesn't make it onto the podium or anything,
Ah.
the experience is entirely different.
Mhm.
Mm.
Uh, yes, people can save up. For us, we even have layaway plans, so we can work with anyone and any budget and anything. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, try it once. Yeah, life is too short, I guess.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
now,
True.
Indeed.
True.
I
True.
think we all learned that now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
might as well enjoy your life now because you never
Yep.
know.
And
Yeah.
Singapore is easy, basically.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Mm.
mean, prices do go up, but I mean, and William's done this. He's found places for me in Singapore, even though I'm not in their group, and they're always interesting, and they're a little bit further away. But
Yeah,
you're actually, you don't want to be. I mean, we're going to be at the track every day for 4 or 5 days, right?
right in the middle.
So it's kind of nice to
Mm.
be away. And I found these small places. So yeah, it's affordable. It's just Singapore, so it's completely safe. You have no issues of getting mugged in Milan or wherever or things like that. It's just nice, and you can bring other people. They can watch the Red Hot Chili Peppers, or they can go shopping. Shopping in Singapore during Formula One season is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, they have a campaign. The Singapore Tourism Board has a campaign during that. It's called
Oh yeah.
GPSS,
Yeah.
Grand
Yeah.
Prix Season Singapore, and everything is decked out in black and white, checkered pattern, and all
Mhm.
sails, everything. So yeah, it's a good
You know,
place.
I gotta say, William, we travel a lot. But during this pandemic, I've actually people think that I want to be out, but I'm like, you know what? It's kind of nice to not be out.
Oh yeah,
This is the
for
first.
sure.
This is the first time I gotta tell you. This is the first time you telling me that. I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun to go to again. First time. First time. And
Oh,
everything else is work stuff. Like I have to go here for work or whatever. This is the first time. So
yeah.
yeah, it's just a different experience.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
um,
Sure.
So how long is Singapore booked now? How many more races does it committed to?
It's until 2021 is the
Only.
contract.
Only. Yeah.
So next year is another contract negotiation thing.
Mm.
Personally, I don't see it uh,
Yeah.
moving away or dropping the race. Yeah, locals
Yeah.
might complain that hey, traffic, our lives are
Yeah, they're
yeah, but
Singaporean.
yeah, but yeah, I think the benefits outweigh the
Oh
problems
yeah,
encounter for
no.
sure.
Mm.
When Singapore was first put on the docket, the schedule. And everyone's like, it's a nighttime races, whatever. I'm like, you don't get it. All the corporate sponsorship is in Singapore. You just created the best place for everyone outside Monaco. This will be the best place for everyone. So it's awesome. I mean, some people like Paulo think you have to walk too far, but no, dude, it's great. It's great. It's a great crowd. It's an emotional crowd. It's not. It's also not too skewed one way or the other. It's a wide range of people that go. So it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
So 2021, let's all go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, go. I didn't go out this year, so like, yeah.
Bawi next year. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the unfortunate thing for me is I did go to Melbourne. Unfortunately, Friday came and it was canceled.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
was,
So you
That's
were
right.
already there when it was canceled.
There.
No, he's always there.
in Melbourne. Yeah, I'm always
Yeah.
there. In Melbourne. Love the place. Personally, I love the place. So I'm always
Okay.
there. I'm always in Melbourne. So yeah, been going to Melbourne since '03.
Mm-hmm.
Since '03. So I've
What was the
attended
first
race
Formula One race you went to, William?
99 Sepang.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was
That's the
for
first one.
personal, or for Red Rock already?
Personal. Personal.
Okay.
Okay. The backstory about us being Red Rock is Carl knew my late wife. So
Yeah.
she had problems going around, but she would
Mm.
still accompany me going to races. We
Mm.
back then it was pre-internet. It was
Oh, yeah.
internet was
That
crap,
time.
which Paulo
Yep.
never experienced, I'm
Dial-up.
sure.
Yeah, I see.
Dial-up.
Dial-up.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Spoiled.
I didn't know about that.
so we had problems taking our flights, taking tickets, and everything. Long story short, uh, I think it was in '04 when we finally decided, hey, since we're going out, why not start
Might
something,
as well.
bring people
Correct.
along? Like you guys said, it's more fun if you have friends or even
Mm.
clients going along. So that's how it all started. It
Mhm.
was
Mm.
born out of just wanting to go
Mm-hmm.
and take people along and maybe share the experience.
Cool.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Were you a big Formula One fan prior to all this?
Yeah, but back then, my uncle who used to live in New Jersey would send me like the VHS tapes,
Tapes.
so
Yeah, the
which
tape.
which
Yeah.
I would receive X amount of months later, but I'd pop it
Hmm.
in.
You'd
I
still watch it,
also,
Yeah.
yeah, and I had, I don't know if you guys remember the Far East Network,
Yeah.
those
I remember that.
UHF antennas that you get from Clark. Paulo's
Yeah.
not laughing. He
Oh, no.
doesn't know what
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
put it
talking
in
no.
this one.
These young
I,
whippersnappers.
yeah, I'd watch the George Michael Sports Machine, if you guys
Yeah.
remember that.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
And I get my intro
Man.
from that thing. So that's it. George Michael, not the Wham singer, Paulo, just in case you're
Yeah.
Oh,
uh,
You know
yeah.
what,
Yeah. Just
Ram?
not
keep
the
hearing
singer.
that. Just keep hearing that.
Uh,
You might
so
be
yeah,
wondering.
so
Dude,
that
my first Formula One visits, I was just faxing,
yeah,
and calling. I had to call and
I
fax and
called. Yeah,
arrange to have my ticket. I pick it up there. I had to make my own arrangements. I had to figure out where I was going to sit in the grandstand. There was no communication.
yeah.
Mm.
I'd have to choose,
Mean
like,
the-
can I add a pit walk? That type of thing. If you get a Saturday Sunday ticket, you get a free pit walk, things like that. So
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
naman for F1, I was in high school. I used to watch um the show of Sir Bots Gamboa, Motoring
Mhm.
Today. And they show those those VHS tapes of race highlights, which I
Yeah.
remember George saying that Cookie would bring home from the States. And yeah. So That was my first Formula One around 30 plus years ago. Sorry,
Same
pal.
here.
Way, way
Paulo, do you
before
know what
your time.
VHS tape is?
I
Yeah. Oh,
do.
yeah.
I had like
Really?
I had Disney movies and VHS tapes.
Oh,
No
when you were
way.
a kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've dated ourselves. Okay. Okay, everyone. Well, this
So
is
did I.
we're gonna wrap up. This has been our first Formula One chat with William. We're gonna have some more. We're gonna wrap up the season. We're gonna talk about things because now I'm getting excited again about Formula One.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been up and down with me for a while. I'm getting back
Yeah.
interested in it, and I'm hanging out with people who are interested in it. So that's cool. So we thank you very, very much for joining us. I forgot to identify ourselves. This is the Cars Casually Gang with a guest, William Herrera of Red Rock Travel. William is the guy who brings gangs of unruly enthusiasts all over the world to listen to noisy race cars. He's a terrible person. No, we're kidding. It's actually extremely organized. It's a simple one text operation, and your world
Yeah.
is set for the next 5 days. So it's fine.
Yeah.
This has been Paulo. This has been G. This has been William. I'm Carl. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Let us know what you want to talk about, and we shall try and comply. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.